Over the last 2 years, I've seen every single possible online business that a beginner can quickly start. Not only start, but actually make money within the first couple months. And so in this video, we're gonna show you the top 3 online businesses that you can start today that use AI to start collecting cash within the next couple months. Now, these are all going to be agency type of businesses, but this is because I truly believe that this is the best beginner business model. More specifically, it's the best beginner business model if you're not a technical founder. Meaning you don't know how to code, you're not a software developer. And the reason I know this is because this is me. I'm a non-technical founder, and so I went the agency route. So yes, this is actually how I started 2.5 years ago, and actually how most of the people you see online today got their start. This includes the likes of Alex Hormozi, Iman Gadzhi, Charlie Morgan, and many others you might know. Now, obviously, just like these guys, I don't run an agency anymore. I actually run a couple SaaS companies, but if I were to start over from scratch from absolute zero, I would most definitely start off at an agency. And to be completely fair, my SaaS companies now always have some sort of agency component to them, so I'm not really that far away from the agency space. But this is because with an agency, you have a cash generating machine. Now, with every business model that I present to you today, I'll talk about 3 main things. Number 1, what it is and how it works. Number 2 is how easy it is to start from a scale of 1 to 10 and how much capital you'll actually need to get started. And number 3, how I would personally go about getting clients for that specific business model. With that being said, let me jump into the first one. Business number 1 is going to be an AI demand generation agency. Now, AI demand generation is pretty much just a fancy way of saying lead generation. In short, what you're going to be doing is finding clients for your clients using AI. Now, there's obviously a bunch of different ways to do this, but this is typically done through outreach. You can do cold email, LinkedIn outreach, Instagram outreach, Facebook outreach. My personal favorite and the one I've seen the best results with is Twitter outreach. Twitter allows you to send up to 500 messages per day per account, meaning the limits are the highest among every other social media platform. You don't really have to worry about accounts getting banned. It's got the lowest amount of competition I've seen across outreach platforms, and it is by far the cheapest option out there. And so in terms of how easy it is to start an AI demand generation agency, scale from 1 to 10, 1 being easiest, 10 being hardest, I would probably rate this a 2 or a 3. You're just gonna need a couple skills like offer building, script writing, and you're gonna have to get really good at scraping leads as well. And not only will you have to do this for yourself, meaning craft a really good offer, come up with really good scripts, but you'll also have to be able to do this for your clients because they're gonna have no clue how to do outreach. They're gonna have really bad offers for cold traffic, and they won't have a clue about what good copy looks like. And so to get clients for your AI demand generation service, this is exactly what I do. Since you're just starting out, I would probably go with a free offer right off the bat to get a bunch of people to say yes, and then I would decide who I actually want to work with. So again, I would just say something along the lines of, hey, can I send over some leads for absolutely free? Then once you start kind of getting more case studies and actually proving yourself, then you can change the model. But just for starting out, I would always recommend you do work for free and then either charge on a performance basis, or instead of charging, just have them give you testimonials, client interviews, case studies, all that stuff, so you can then leverage that for your future outreach. So at the beginning, it can just look something like this. Hey, first name, if I could just send you leads on a pay on performance basis, would you be interested? You literally only pay after you close someone. Right? So if you just put that in a script and start sending that out, that'll probably work really well. Again, this is going to get you a ton of positive replies, and then you just have to sift through the leads to figure out who you actually want to work with. Now, something I really like about this specific model is that whenever someone replies to your outreach and you're offering them the same thing you're doing that got them to reply, it in and of itself just conveys a ton of trust, because if your method got them to reply, then that means their clients will reply too. And so that's a really strong point that you can make. Like, hey, if they're worried about whether outreach or your specific outreach method will work, you can literally just hit them with a, hey, well, I mean, this got you to reply. Or if you're on a call with them, hey, this got you on a call, so it does work, right? And then they really can't say anything to that. And so that's what makes this my favorite business model by far if you're just starting out. At the beginning, a lot of people have issues closing sales because there's no proof. But if you're doing the same exact thing that you're selling them and it worked on them, then that's all the proof anyone really needs to get going. especially if you're doing a free offer. All right, now, how are we actually going to get in touch with these guys? How are we going to get our offer in front of them? You can obviously do manual outreach and that'll definitely work, but what I like doing is stacking automated outreach on top of manual outreach. There's a bunch of tools out there, but for Twitter outreach, my favorite tool is Drippy.ai, and not only can you use this for yourself, but then you can also leverage this for your clients. So let me just walk you through how Drippy works. So you want to hit the first link down below in the description to get access to Drippy's 7-day free trial. After you sign up and connect your Twitter account, you're going to want to go to the leads section. Scraping leads on Drippy is super easy. You just hit new lead source, you hit lead scraper, you select account source, and then you paste whoever has your ICP's attention. Meaning you have to figure out who your ICP follows or who's followed by your ICP. In this case, I'm just going to plug my own Twitter handle in there, and I'm going to scrape my followers and everyone that I follow as well. I'm going to add that as a source. Now you can add as many lead sources in here as you'd like. I'm just going to go ahead and hit next. Now what we can do is we can add filters. So if you know that your ICP for whatever reason has the word CEO, founder, maybe they have MRR, maybe they have co-founder, all those things that you know about your ICP can go in here so that you're not only just reaching out to everyone that follows me or anyone that you plug in here, but rather someone that follows a specific account and has one of these keywords, or maybe that they don't have one of these keywords, or maybe that they have more than 1,000 followers. And then you can combine all these filters to get really high quality lead lists. Once your lead list is ready to go, you give your lead source a name, you hit save, and now we can move on to the automation tab. The automations tab will allow us to set up a campaign. So what you need to do is you hit add new, Cold DM 2.0, you hit next. We're going to select our lead source. So we're just going to do the demo one we just created. We're going to hit next. Now we're going to select script personalizer. We're going to hit next once again. And now for context, we're just going to let the AI know exactly what it is that we do. So we're just going to say, I help businesses scale through Twitter outreach. Now we're going to move on to the script. For script, we're just going to write something along the lines of what I was saying previously. Hey, first name, if I could send leads on a pay on results basis, you only pay me whenever you close. Would you be interested? There we go. Hey, first name. So we're just going to input the personalization. Hey, first name, if I could send leads over on a pay and results basis, you only pay me whenever you close, in parentheses, would you be interested? This would get you a ton of replies. Now, once we have our script, we're going to move on to settings. We're going to make sure these settings are turned on so that the AI has as much information as possible. We're going to go ahead and hit next. You can add a message variants if you'd like. You can add follow-ups right here. Now you can schedule our automation. We're going to be sending 10 messages per hour so that we actually get results, because again, volume negates luck. Once we have that squared away, we're going to give our automation a name. You're going to select your Twitter account, you hit create, and now you're sending messages. And not only can you set this up for yourself to get clients, but again, you can set this up for your clients to get clients for them. I just showed you how to do it. You can literally have it set up within the next 5 minutes. So if you want to set it up for completely free, hit the first link down below in the description. And that brings me to business number 2. Business number 2 is going to be for you to start an email marketing agency. But more so, this is you setting up email flows for e-commerce or for SaaS companies. Most of the email marketing agencies you'll see are in the e-com space, but I'd argue that there's bigger money and a bigger opportunity if you target SaaS companies. So once again, if you're an email marketing agency, you are essentially building out event-triggered email flows for SaaS companies. And just to give you an example, just think about the last time you subscribed to a new software. Probably received a ton of welcome emails. Maybe it was a founder saying, welcome to the platform. Maybe it was, hey, this is where you can get support. Maybe it's, hey, these are the next steps you want to take, so on and so forth. Or maybe you remember last time you churned from a SaaS company and then you got a series of emails giving you a discount if you stayed, so on and so forth. And so this is exactly what you'd be building out for these companies. And you might be surprised. You'd think that most SaaS companies have these figured out, but most of them either set them up a really long time ago and they need a refresh and they just haven't bothered to do it, or you can also go after new SaaS companies that do not have these set up. Now, on top of that, all these businesses need newsletters, and so that's how you can build recurring revenue into this business. You can do daily newsletters, you can do bi-weekly newsletters, you can do monthly, whatever it is. Obviously, the prices will change depending on the cadence, but this is the easiest way for you to get going with an email marketing. Now, on scale 1 to 10, I think this is going to be one of the easiest ones to start. You don't need a ton of expertise as long as you can just write in plain English. And doing research for this is honestly pretty easy. You can just sign up to a bunch of big SaaS companies and just figure out what they're doing in their flows. And then you can just do that for your own clients. Obviously, adding a twist, you don't want to just copy and paste what other companies are doing, but this is going to give you a good good idea for what's currently working. And so again, on a scale of 1 to 10, probably around a 3 or a 4 when it comes to easy, because it is a ton of work once you get clients, but it's really easy to start. And in terms of how much money you need to spend to get going on this, it's pretty much zero. Now, this is how I would go about getting clients for an email marketing agency. Once again, if I'm completely new, I would just do work for free. I would tell companies that I've just rebuilt their welcome sequence, trial sequence, win back sequence, whatever it is. And then once they reply, I would actually build it out and then shoot it over. Obviously, these would be based off of the templates that I put together from researching all the top SaaS companies in that niche. I would just repeat until I have enough case studies, and then I would just use those case studies in my outreach to actually charge higher fees. Once you have those and you want to start charging clients, I would probably build a setup offer where they just pay you one time for an unlimited amount of flows. And then once you've done a really good job there, you can keep them on a monthly recurring subscription by doing newsletters for them. And to build out all these flows, once again, what I do is I'll probably just use AI, use all the templates that I built out, chuck them all into a cloud project, have that get you about 80% of the way there, then add some tweaks, add some GIFs. That's something I really like doing in my email flows, and then you're all good. My main outreach platform to get clients for this offer would once again be Twitter, just because it's the least competitive out there. So I'd probably also use Drippy for that, but I would also test out cold email and LinkedIn. And then once you have clients, they're probably going to ask you to get these set up on an email sending tool. I personally recommend Flywheel.cx. That's what we use at Drippy. And these email service providers will actually allow you to send these event triggered emails, meaning they're integrated with Stripe and some event tracking software to be sent out at the right time. And that's it. If you do this, you will start landing clients very, very soon. This is honestly a great offer, and there's a huge gap in the market right now, so I highly recommend you take advantage of this. That being said, let's move on to business number 3. Business number 3 is starting a YouTube partner agency. You're essentially going to run YouTube channels for companies that have no idea what they're doing with YouTube, but really want to get it going. YouTube is a literal money-making machine, but there's a lot of companies that just aren't doing it, but would pay top dollar to have someone run it for them. This, in my opinion, is the hardest one to start out of the 3 because you really need a ton of YouTube expertise in order to be good at this. You need to learn how to edit videos, you need to learn how to write good scripts, you need to learn how to write good hooks, you need to learn how to do thumbnails. There's just a bunch of stuff that you need to do. So if you're just starting out and maybe you don't have all these skills, but you're really passionate about YouTube, you could niche down your agency to where you're not a full stack YouTube agency, but maybe you just focus on writing hooks, maybe writing ideas, maybe you just focus on thumbnails, and you start stacking up these micro skills. So you could just start off with thumbnails, and then you learn how to do hooks, and then you add that. Maybe you become a really good strategist and you add ideas. Maybe you start adding scripts further down the road, and then maybe you don't even need to learn how to edit. Maybe you just have clients and you hire an editor to edit videos for your clients. I honestly know a bunch of people making a ton of money literally just doing thumbnails for people. And so that's the 80-20, where you don't necessarily need to be a full stack YouTube agency. You could start with these micro skills and then you can just start stacking them on top of each other until you become a full stack YouTube agency that can actually charge a ton of money. And so this is just a great way to get your foot in the door. To find clients for this business, again, I'd probably do some sort of work for free. I'd shoot people messages on Twitter letting them know that, hey, I just built out a script outline with a title, a really good hook, and a thumbnail for your next video. A bunch of people are gonna say yes, and then you can actually decide who you wanna do the work for. Then you just do the work, you shoot it over, and then if they like what you sent them, then they're gonna want more, and so that's how you start getting clients. Your message can look something along the lines of this. Hey, I just put together a thumbnail, title, and script for a new YouTube video. Mind if I send it over? Literally that simple, and you're gonna get a ton of replies. As soon as someone says yes and you actually wanna work with them, get to work on the deliverables, shoot them over as quickly as you can. Again, I'd be doing outreach for this, either using tools like Drippy for Twitter or tools like Instantly and SmartLead for cold email. Now, the best piece of advice I can give you is to pick one of these 3 and stick with it for at least the next 6 months. Put in the work, do at least 100 outreach messages a day. I can pretty much guarantee that if you do that for the next 6 months, you will have a business. Now, I don't have a course that's going to cost you thousands of dollars walking you through how to start your first online business, but I do have a software tool called Drippy that I mentioned in this video that's actually going to help you sign your first couple clients. And so once again, if you hit the first link down below in the description, you'll get a 7-day free trial with which you can land your first client. If you want more outreach help, I'll leave you with this video where I walk through what Alex Hormozi has to say about outreach. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you there.